There's something about signing with the Dodgers that really brings all the termites out of the floorboards. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's sterling reputation in Major League Baseball as the would-be, if he's not already, the face of baseball. I understand that the official season kicked off in South Korea, but, opening day at Chavez Ravine hasn't happened quite yet. So I guess stateside, we haven't even seen him officially in a Dodgers uniform with a regular season pitch coming his way. He's already got controversy laid bare to him. Even if he didn't necessarily do anything, he's already being painted with that veneer. Call up Trevor Bauer if you want to see this exact same situation in a different context play out. But Shohei Ohtani says he never bet on sports, because that's been the allegations going out and around for right now, according to a report rather that his translator Ippei Mizuhara had been illegally betting on sporting events. We'll get into the specifics on that one. I was really waiting for, other side of this conversation to pop out, because everything is Shohei Ohtani's translator was caught betting on games. It's like, okay, cool, I see what the spin is right here. Okay, one of the biggest athletes in the world, okay, caught up in a gambling scandal. I understand that the sports rags are going to want to run on that. I'd kind of like to hear from Ohtani first and foremost. Now that we have that information, well, now we can go forward with it. So Shohei Ohtani says he never bet on sports, shocked by Ippei Mizuhara's gambling scandal. Shohei Ohtani expressed shock and sadness over the betting scandal involving his longtime interpreter Ippei Mizuhara, while vehemently denying any knowledge of Mizuhara's debt and affirming that he never bet on baseball or any other sports. Again, I just think that this is a failure of association, and another very common symptom of people who are rich and powerful or are very famous, who might have a good reputation, but there are people in your entourage, there are people who don't quite have the same moral character as you do. All of this has been a complete lie, Ohtani said through his new interpreter, which is the Dodgers interpreter. The guy who worked with, I think I seen a report, he was working with Kenta Maeda before, they shipped his ass out of town. Ohtani read a prepared statement to reporters Monday afternoon at Dodger Stadium before an exhibition game against the Angels, declining to answer questions from the media. Because it's so funny. It's not even like an LA thing, because as you know, likely you do if you follow baseball in any form or fashion, Ohtani spent how many years in Los Angeles? I understand it was just up the road with the Angels, but none of this came to light before he signed with the bright lights of the LA Dodgers. Very strange. Very strange. Yes, these were the first public comments since his now former interpreter was linked to an alleged illegal bookmaker, Matthew Boyer, and is alleged to have a gambling debt of $4.5 million. Up until a couple of days ago, I didn't know this was happening, Ohtani said through his new interpreter, Will Ireton. Ippei has been stealing money from my account and has told lies. Yeah, see, that's a bigger thing, okay? Like the $4.5 million that you own to a loan shark, that's a problem. But then also stealing a bunch of money from an international superstar, it's not exactly a unique scenario. Like, we've seen this happen beforehand. Like, one of the most prominent cases, at least the one that sticks in my mind, is Dane Cook. Think of him whatever you will as it comes to a actor or a stand-up comedian, but his brother was his manager and stole how many millions, tens of millions of dollars underneath his nose. So here you have somebody who is hyper-focused, and Dane Cook, hyper-focused on his career, and his brother betrays him. That's tough, man. And he legitimately had no idea what was going on right here. So here you have a business partner, a business associate in your interpreter. I'm also doing other things as well for him. I do think that I have no reason not to believe Shohei Ohtani this time around by saying I had no idea this was going on. This is somebody who has how many millions of dollars at his disposal the moment that he steps out on the diamond. I understand he had the big $700 million payout, but most of that's been deferred. The reason that he could defer it is because he's making, like $50 million a year on endorsements. The man prints money wherever he goes. So if somebody's siphoning off a little bit of wealth, he's not going to know about it for years. So this is kind of crazy. He added, I do want to make it clear that I never bet on sports or have willfully sent money to the bookmaker. Ohtani said he didn't know about the gambling debt until the Dodgers held a team meeting after their first game against the Padres last week in Seoul, South Korea, and that's when the pieces started to come together for the Dodger star, whose lawyer said last week that he was the victim of a massive theft. Yeah, that's where all of this stuff really started to cascade. And given the fact that he was, well, halfway around the world, and all of the vultures and sports media were more than willing to circle and hop on this hot button topic, that's why I wanted to take a step back for a second. Because why? If Ohtani is looped in on this, let's just run a thought experiment on this one. Okay, he was bankrolling in order to give himself just a degree of separation from the activity. So he was bankrolling his interpreter and his activities to bet on games or something like that. It's like, okay, maybe his individual performance when he was with the Angels, because as for like a team effort, he was trying his bag off. There's a reason that the guy's a two-time and reigning AL MVP. The guy's good, in case you don't know. But baseball, even from people that used to, try to grease the wheels, that's one of the most difficult sports to rig. Football's pretty tough as well, but you can get to a running back to have somebody put it on the carpet a couple of different times in a specific game. You can go and pay off a quarterback to overthrow or undershoot a couple of passes. Those things you can do, but when it comes to baseball, okay, you're going to pay off the pitcher. Yeah, but okay, the manager can go ahead and, just make a call and you're out of there. So to think that somebody could come in and try to affect the game on an individual basis, yeah, that's not exactly as likely. And again, you're going to start to see a bunch of this other stuff where you have these gray area issues. Not saying that this one's a gray area issue. It seems pretty cut and dry, but when you start taking money from gambling websites that are out there, making overt sponsorships of certain teams, starting to fully integrate not just the fantasy side of this stuff, but then also the direct bettings on games, yeah, man, professional sports is walking a very dangerous line, something that they've tried to shy away from in recent years, but because the almighty dollar rules all and these commissioners in charge of these leagues don't care that much about the health of the game, but rather the wealth of the game, you're going to start to see situations like this pop up a lot more moving forward. Monday marked the first comments from Ohtani has made since the murky story came out last week about Mizuhara losing millions of dollars to Bauer and the funds getting transferred out of Ohtani's account to cover the debts. Los Angeles Times and ESPN broke the wild story last Wednesday, reporting that Mizuhara had been accused of stealing millions from Ohtani. Mizuhara has not been charged with any crimes. Yeah, I just wonder how long that statement's going to hold water. Later that same day, ESPN added to the already bizarre story, reporting the Dodgers spokesperson said that the Dodgers slugger had transferred $4.5 million to Bauer to cover Mizuhara's debts and made Mizuhara available to the outlet for an on-the-record interview. Interesting. However, then, Ohtani's camp disavowed Mizuhara's account of what had happened. Yeah. ESPN later reported that the mix-up had apparently occurred because Ohtani's camp had been relying on Mizuhara's version of events before realizing what had happened. Oh, this is all just a big mix-up. Oh, okay, cool. But what about the millions of dollars that have been transferred out of the account that you had access to? Oh, what? Sorry, me no speak English. Wait a minute. Ohtani confirmed on Monday that Mizuhara had been trying to mislead him and his team and said that he started to feel that there was something amiss. You don't say. When Mizuhara was addressing the team, despite Ohtani not having a translator with him at the time. Ohtani said Mizuhara met one-on-one later that day at a hotel and said that the scope of what was really going on set in, the two-way star said. That was when I found out that he had a massive debt. It was revealing to me that meeting that Ippei admitted that he was sending money using my account to the bookmaker. At that moment, it was an absurd thing that was happening, and I contacted my representative at that point. When I was finally able to talk to my representatives, that's when my representatives found out that Ippei had been lying this whole time. Probably fudged the numbers, like, yeah, I just needed to float, just a few $1,000s. It's just a few $1,000s. Well, I guess $4.5 million is a few $1,000s if you stack it up appropriately. And the Dodgers and the lawyers at that moment found out also as well, and that they had been lied to. Mizuhara also worked as Ohtani's translator during his tenure with the Angels, and the two had been close friends in addition to their working relationship. Oh man, that sucks. Parts of Mizuhara's past have come into question, and The Athletic did not reported that he did not attend UC Riverside in college, as his old Angels bio had said, nor did he work for the Red Sox, a previous media report stated. Interesting. Mizuhara told ESPN that he bet on sports such as soccer and football, but never baseball. Have we heard this narrative before? I'm very saddened and shocked that someone I trusted had done this, Ohtani said about Mizuhara. But yeah, get to the bottom of this. Obviously, I'm just wondering, while there's going to be an open investigation, if Rob Manlett, is going to go ahead and place Ohtani on administrative leave right at the outset of a brand new season. I'm just wondering if there's going to be equal application when it comes to these gambling investigations, because somebody who's a bit of an expert on it when it comes to Major League Baseball, we got Pete Rose over here, wishes he had an interpreter like Shohei Ohtani. I'd be scot-free. So yeah, obviously, the greatest hitter in baseball history, a man who should be in the Hall of Fame, for Christ's sakes, okay? Especially with all of the black market and gray market money that Major League Baseball is taking in from gambling organizations like Charlie Hustle, first ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt, 1,000%. But yeah, of course, if they can't get direct, unscripted comments from Shohei Ohtani, who's the next best person? You know, the guy who received a lifetime ban for doing the exact same stuff that's being alleged here by an interpreter. It was only a matter of time before Pete Rose chimed in on the ongoing drama surrounding baseball superstar Shohei Ohtani and his former interpreter Ippei Mizuhara, who is alleged to have stole $4.5 million from Ohtani. Rose, the all-time Major League Baseball hit king, commented on the matter in what appeared to be a sarcastic manner in a video that he posted Instagram and spread across social media. Well, back in the 70s and 80s, wish I had an interpreter. I'd be scot-free. Rose said in the 21-second clip. Rose is sitting next to a man identified as Matt Thrash in the video, and it's unclear where or when the video was recorded. Well, I'd imagine it's probably within the past couple of days, just saying. Pete Rose talks about, the Shohei Ohtani situation, and chimes in with a joke. But it's wild, man, what's going on here. Okay, the sterling reputation. Somebody else caught up in the news cycle who has nothing but goodwill outside of, I don't know, probably some Astros fans and some A's fans that got burnt by the Angels for the years that he was there. Nobody really has a bad thing to say about Shohei Ohtani. Even when he signed that massive contract, everybody was going, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, probably going to end up being a discount for the Dodgers. And now the first thing that happens, legitimately the first thing that happens even before the season really gets underway, is he's involved in and embroiled in one of the biggest gambling stories in the past 30 years. That's a bit tough, but I'm not willing to jump to conclusions on this one. I'm going to go ahead and take the radical position that, guess what? Ohtani is innocent until proven guilty. Same with Mizuhara, but really seems like he's kind of fessed up to a couple of crimes, and if you're just willing to fess up to certain aspects of it when it's revealed that you're in much deeper than you're revealing, that's typical addict behavior. And I think it's probably going to get worse for him before it gets better, and hopefully that doesn't tarnish the legacy of Shohei Ohtani all that much. May reflect poorly on his judge of character. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.